Welcome everyone to today's Central Cell News. We have an exciting lineup of interviews for you guys today. We will be interviewing three major roles of carbohydrate digestion, first being glycolysis, followed by the Krebs cycle, and last but not least, the electron transport chain and oxidative phosphorylation. Without further ado, let's welcome glycolysis. Welcome glycolysis, it's a pleasure to have you today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and the role in the carbohydrate digestion.
Well, I kind of kick things off with carbohydrate digestion. So I start with the glucose, cut that in half, have 3 carbon chains. I oxidize those and turn those into pyruvate, which I'll send over to Krebs cycle. And then I have 2 NADH, which I send over to the electron transport chain.
Interesting. So I've heard some rumors about you. You're often seen as having a jealous personality type in both the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain. Is this true?
Oh, heck no, that's not true. Why would I have to be jealous of the Krebs cycle? He holds himself so high and mighty. He has like the most complicated steps. He barely produces any energy. Like, all he produces is garbage that is sent over to the electron transport chain when I'm over here making raw energy.
So how much energy exactly do you produce then?
Well, I produce 2 pyruvate, which is, it's not raw energy, but that'll get sent over to the Krebs cycle. And then I actually produce 4 ATP, but there's a net cost of 2 ATP to have my system run. So 2 pyruvate, 2 NADH, and 2 ATP.
Wow, and so then do you send these products over to the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain? Is this correct?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Wow, interesting. Okay, well, you know what? Thank you so much for coming to the show, Nick Glycolysis.
Yep, of course.
All right, and now let's welcome the Krebs cycle. You know, I just want to say it is truly a gift having you on the show with us here today.
Thanks, Shaylee. Glad to be here.
It's actually Kaylee.
Whatever.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, Krebs cycle.
Well, Shaylee.
Still Kaylee.
Whatever. I'm the best there is. It's plain and simple. I wake up in the morning and piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. I've got 3 NADH, 1 FADH2, and 1 GTP per cycle.
Wow, so what I'm hearing is you don't actually make the energy in the form of ATP?
Now, Bailey.
Still Kaylee.
Whatever. You see here, I can do all the hard work that produces the things my man electron transport chain will form into energy later on.
I see. So do you find your job then harder than that of glycolysis and the electron transport chain?
Well, what's your name again?
Kaylee.
Well, that's right. Well, Casey, I think my job is the hardest job. I definitely think it's a job I make everybody proud in. Everybody loves me. I see people taking tests and are in lectures and they cry at the sight of my name.
What would you say then is essential to doing your job?
Well, there's a few things. One is acetyl coenzyme. That's important. That comes from the pyruvate glycolysis mix. And then oxaloacetate comes in and oxidizes that and turns it into citrate. I feel like those are the 3 that are important to the Krebs cycle.
Interesting. Well, you know, that's all I need to know then. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
All right, and then last but not least, we'll have our electron transport chain. Hi, electron transport chain. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I know I'm not as flashy as glycolysis in the Krebs cycle, but thank you for having me.
Of course. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I make the most ATP, so I think that deserves some credit. I can turn leftovers from the other 2 and turn them into usable energy.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, to understand this, you are the final step for the main carbohydrate digestion, aren't you?
Oh, yes. I'm the transfer of electrons, and I do oxidative phosphorylation to produce ATP and water.
Interesting. So, what does oxidative phosphorylation do exactly?
Well, there's a lot to it, but essentially, I can create water during this process. I like to make a game for myself. In this game, I try to make the most water. My highest goal is 1 H2O produced per 2 electrons.
That is fantastic. All right, well, thank you everyone for coming to today's segment on Central Cell News. I hope to see you all in the future again. Have a nice day.